Good morning, fellow comic readers.
What's going on? What's going on, man?
We got a lot. We got a lot going on, Serge. Welcome to the House of Nerd Show. I'm your host for today, Steve. With me is Sergio over there.
Over here.
Here, Sergio, how's it going?
What's going on, Steve? Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody, man. Good morning. How's everybody doing today?
I think we're all doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good, but Lauren's not with us because as we've advertised before, we have the one, the only, not the Chris Evans you know, but the Chris Evans you love, Chris Evans from Let's Go Pod.
Yes, sir.
How's it going?
Chris, man, good morning, man. Thanks for coming to hang out with us today on the House of Nerd Show, buddy.
Happy to be here. You guys know I love the show. But I will say, this is the first time I noticed the intro, you're surrounded by beer cans when you wake up. I didn't. All the times I've watched the show, I never realized those are beer cans.
Come on now, that's disappointing.
I don't know. I never noticed it.
Man, I was on do some trivia. Like I gotta ask the audience maybe if they're noticing which books.
Those are the first I go to when I see your intro. I'm like, his two favorite books, of course they're on there.
Gotta be. I got my Stellas and my Coronas lying about, but yeah, man. Chris, did you want to introduce yourself to those who are unfamiliar? Where you come from, what you do. I know you're a part of the Let's Go podcast crew. Tell us a little bit about that, buddy.
Yeah. So I do a lot of reviews with the Let's Go podcast. You can find us at letsgopodcast.com. I mostly review the Batman side of things. So Batman, Detective Comics, Robin, the Joker, stuff like that. I also love Marvel. I'm a big fan of Marvel, so I read a lot of X-Men. Steve knows that.
Yeah.
I also do State of X with you guys.
Yes.
And you can find my reviews and stuff every week. That's kind of my thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Steve, you've been doing the X Talk stuff with Chris.
State of X, yeah. X Talk's a different thing, Serge. State of X is another thing.
State of X is the new venture. So for those who you guys are X-Men fans, Marvel fans, definitely check out the State of X stuff. The video's uploaded on our channel. Great stuff, man. Steve, Lauren and Chris are killing it on that. So
yeah, I mean the X universe of Marvel is ever changing, and so we tend to talk a lot about what's been changing and how that's going to be impacting the future of the X side of things going forward.
That's dope.
But if people want to know more about X-Men, obviously go check out our State of X video, as mentioned. As for today, we have a fantastic episode. But first, before we get to any of that, Serge, we have a special thing we got to shout out.
We do.
The House of Nerd Show has got to do a birthday shout out. Happy belated birthday. People in the chat, get your birthday cake emojis, get your beer emojis, get whatever kind of emojis you have ready to celebrate, because we are wishing Tara a happy birthday.
Yes, sir. Hey, happy birthday to Tara. I don't see her in the live chats yet, but man, she's here like every single week. The loudest, always bringing the energy, makes it fun for us. So happy birthday, Tara, man. Hope you had a great one. And I'm suspecting she's not here yet. Birthday shenanigans well into the night. I'm hoping for her. So
I hope so too.
if we do see her in the chat, we'll be sure to bring this banner around once again, because the show's not the same without the guys and girls watching it. Tara, Intern Ian, Sly Steven, L, people have been around from the beginning. Thank you very much for supporting us. So we want to give back in any way possible. Happy birthday, Tara.
Absolutely, man. I mean, it's the community, it's the live chats, it's the guys who interact with us, on the socials and everything, man. You guys make this show great. So appreciate every single one of you guys, man. Thank you. And thank you for coming out today, man.
Yeah,
Steve, we got a great show, right? What do we got planned for today, buddy?
Well, before we get to that, I want to mention Serge. Things are looking a little different here, right?
That's right, Steve. Things are looking a little different,
So we've talked about how important the chat is to the show. You guys are essentially our fourth member, and with that being said, changes are happening. This is an ever-changing channel. We're going to be changing things as we grow, right? You may notice the background is different, the logos are different. There are little things that are different. Let us know your thoughts and opinions on it. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you like the old one? Let us know how we're doing. Give us your thoughts, just so we can keep growing together.
Absolutely, man. And we got intern Ian. He's wondering, you're still at intern level, buddy.
Sorry.
Soon enough. We'll hoping to. You're in the cards, bro, for a promotion. We'll see what's going on, man.
One day.
Yeah, we got the new background, new little logo dealie over there. Figure just matching the House of Nerd colors, and it's our 25th episode, guys.
That's right.
Hey, awesome.
Hey, that's pretty cool, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it's awesome.
born out of an idea, and now it's growing, and you guys are fantastic and a part of this. So, thank you guys, man. 25. And we're just getting started, man. We're just getting started. And
we have a fantastic episode planned for you. The rundown is, of course, our weekend review to kick things off. Then we have a special. I was gonna say I saw that. I didn't want to bring it in because I was trying to lead somewhere.
Yeah.
But who doesn't like balls, right?
Yeah.
Our second segment is something special. So we're gonna save that for then.
Mm-hmm.
Our main discussion is story versus art. Which do you prefer? Do you think one is needed more than the other? Do you think it's a combination of both? We're looking for your thoughts on that. Then we're going to do a big shout out for TO Comic Book Club because something big is happening this week. Something very big is happening this week.
Ooh,
and finally, Serge's favorite segment, Copper Drop, where we will be discussing our thoughts on Gun Honey #1.
Hey. I like it. I like what we got planned for this one, man. So I'm hyped. All
right.
So we get the ball rolling?
Let's get the ball rolling. Let's go into our weekend review. Let's kick things off first with Chris. How's your comics week been for you?
It's been pretty good. There's a lot of good stuff this week. I was pretty happy with it. I didn't get to a lot of the indies that I wanted to, but I did start some new stuff, so I'm excited about that. But I like my top 3. I'm pretty happy with them.
All right, dude. Do you want
any indies? Come on now, Chris. No indies? What's going on?
No indies on it. There was a lot of good commercial titles. No indies this week for me.
Okay,
right.
So you're gonna let us know what you have in store. Your top 3, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. What's your number 3?
Number 3 is Robin #6 from Joshua Williamson. This is a book that I didn't want this book. I don't love Robin, to be honest. I love Damian, but I don't really need a Robin book. Then I read this, and it's basically Mortal Kombat with Robin, and I'm all in for that. It's really fun, and this issue particularly kicked up the action because the tournament finally started. It's like, for those that are not familiar, Damian goes to an island, much like Mortal Kombat, where there's a tournament to the death going on, and he fights all these various characters, and this is the first day of the actual tournament. So you can see here, it's just a lot of fighting. But it's a really cool issue, and I love the art.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like it's straight up anime arc.
Yeah.
Chris, is this the one DC earlier in the year had like a bracket vote tournament style?
No, that was Robin's.
Yeah, that was different.
Oh, that's
a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Robin, the character of Robin's, all of them, they're getting a much bigger presence now in DC.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to put Batman not so much in the forefront, even though we still have way too many Bat books.
Agreed.
They're also trying to get the family out there, and this book is a great introduction to people who aren't familiar with Damian, or if you hate Damian or you love Damian, I recommend this book. It was really good this week.
Okay, cool, man. So lots of action, it sounds like in this.
In this one, yeah, a lot of action. Cool. It's been kind of a slow build, but it wasn't one of those builds where it's like, man, just get to it already. This is the 6th issue, and the tournament just started, and I don't even care. It's fine.
Okay.
It's not like reading the Tynan book where I'm 7 issues in and I still don't know why I'm reading it.
Yeah.
No offense to Tynan fans, of course. But
all right. So Robin meets Mortal Kombat type deal with this storyline here.
Yeah. And it's different.
It's giving me such an anime tournament arc vibe.
Absolutely, for sure.
I would love to see them adapt it into like some kind of anime. I don't even like anime, but I would watch the crap out of it.
All right, Chris. So that's only your 3rd pick for this week. What's number 2?
Well, unfortunately, it's not a Batman book, but it's Detective Comics 1043.
Okay. I'm sensing a theme here.
I like Batman.
Okay.
I was gonna say, is the theme you're sensing crossover? Because that doesn't make sense.
Man.
This book is so I've been loving Mariko Tamaki's work. She's been killing it. In Future State with Dark Detective, her work has just been excellent. And this book particular, I was kind of scared of because it's a Fear State tie-in, and I do not like Fear State.
Right.
I don't like tie-ins. When when they have those big events, these tie-in books always suck. But this one is special because it like acknowledges the main arc, but it doesn't lean too heavily into it, and it does its own thing. And Tamaki is just excellent. And Dan Mora was back on this one. I was gonna say this shot of Batman is beautiful.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. This is a nice shot.
Yeah.
Dan Mora has a way with his art that I've been a fan of his since before he got to DC, like when he was just sketching and stuff. So to see him on this platform is just amazing to me. And his work speaks for itself.
That's pretty cool, to see the growth of an artist and to be on such a massive book like Detective, right?
Yeah,
so,
he's going places. And, this isn't the only book he does art for anymore. He's a busy guy.
Is he the one he's on Once and Future, no? Or am I thinking of someone else?
I don't know if he's on that. I know he does work with Boom a lot. Like he did a lot of the Power Ranger stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's really popular with the Power Ranger fans.
Yeah.
But his work is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean the art looks dope. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Jordi Belair on the colors, they're like a dream team to me.
Yeah.
When you talk artistic dream teams, they're on that list now.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Shout out to Canadian writer. So, got to show love to the Canucks there. Yeah.
But Chris, that's only your number 2, right?
Yes, that's my number 2. My number 1 is the big finale. This is the main event for me. It's an X-Men Inferno number 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is I think it's 52 pages, right, Steve?
It's possibly. It doesn't feel like it though, which is weird.
No, it doesn't, especially from Hickman, a long book that's wordy. Usually you could fill the length. On this one, you do not.
Yeah.
This was the one I've been waiting for. And I'm very happy with it. That's why it's my number 1.
Is this Hickman's swan song on the X books?
Yeah.
Before he leaves, yeah?
Yeah.
This is the last big one for now.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully one day he'll come back or whatever. But it's honestly, we talked a lot about it, the lead up to it in our State of X video. Finally being able to read it is something else because, man, I didn't expect some of the things that they did in this book. It does feel like a lot of setup because there are 3 other issues following this, and those I didn't realize how much setup this would be. Like it feels like the stuff that he really set up before with this House of X era. I didn't realize those are the things that he really wanted to touch upon in this. Like there's callbacks that have been, last couple of years that I'm like, oh, I didn't realize like these people were very important to Hickman's overall story, but they are.
Yeah, the way he just weaves stuff in and out is amazing because I don't think I've ever seen a writer do something like this.
Yeah.
Not in such a long form of storytelling. Like Scott Snyder did something like that with his Batman run, a while ago. That's probably the closest, but even then, not to this level of detail that Hickman has gone to. It's really impressive. And the book itself is just very interesting to read, even though it is all set up. It works and it gets you ready for what's coming because before this, like I was expecting Inferno to really be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But after reading it, like, yeah, I'm in. I want to see what's happening. I think this is going to be a big deal, especially with it being Hickman's swan song. I think he's going to go out with a bang or an Inferno, as it were.
So, I saw this all over the timeline. So it seems to be like a pretty big event. Everybody's hyped for it. It looks like. Hopefully, it doesn't disappoint for you X fans, right?
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah. So far, it's doing things I did not expect for it to do when it came to this.
And the fan theories are wild.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about in terms of all X things, especially with this. I mean, hopefully Hickman can stick the landing, but right now it is a very, very good setup.
So 1 of 4 issues you guys said, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Nice.
All right. So to yeah, your mic kind of did a weird thing where sometimes your voice got really loud and then it got really quiet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
How about now? Testing.
More ASMR.
I think that's very good, Serge. Okay. Welcome to the House of Nerd Show. On this episode, we're here with Chris Evans. Thank you guys for joining us. So, Chris, can you please give us your top 3? State them again. What was number 3? It was Robin number 6. Detective Comics 1043. And X-Men Inferno number 1.
Excellent. Very good, guys. We're trying something different here, guys. We're trying something different. Hey.
Oh, whoa, hold on. Stop the presses. Whoa, Tara. Where were you earlier? Happy birthday.
We should do a birthday ASMR.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Tara. Happy birthday, Tara. Tara, once you get a chance, please go back to the beginning because we gave you a great birthday shout out and, we're going to do it again maybe later. Happy birthday, Tara.
Man. Thanks for coming through. Hopefully you're not too hungover. Yeah, man. Hey, we got the whole fam here now. It's lovely. It's blessed. We're having a great time. ASMR episode of the House of Nerds Show, 25th episode special for you guys, man.
All right, so that was Chris's top 3.
Yes.
You didn't hear the nice ASMR. Robin number 3, Detective Comics number 2, and X-Men Inferno was your number 1. Serge, I feel like I'm not going to be seeing a lot of Marvel and DC in your poll for this week. So what did you read?
You'd be correct, Steven. You'd be correct. I'm gonna, I gotta represent, for the indie crowd, man. I love my indies. I picked up a whole slew of books this week. I'm gonna lead off with Night of the Cadillacs, guys. I was very much looking forward to this. Actually, I believe this was my Copper Drop pick a couple weeks back. We never got to it because it was delayed. But I'm gonna save my thoughts for the story versus art discussion. I think this is a great example. So we'll get into that a little later on, guys. What else do I got? I'm gonna get right into it. My number 3 for this week, crossover number 8. They took a little bit of a break in between arcs. We had that crazy issue 7 where Mr. Zdarsky and his meta commentary, crazy fun with that one. So this one, it continues the story proper. And right here, this panel that we're looking at, this was a great way to kind of review what has happened.
Is this a 2-page spread?
It's a 2-page spread, yeah.
This is one thing.
Was that Chris?
I thought this was like an overall all the pages kind of thing. This is actually just a recap.
Yeah, so it's a 2-page spread with every single page recap, and I mean, you're not able to read, obviously, it's so little, but I went through each page and I'm like, oh yeah, this happened and and these little different kind of events and stuff. So I thought that was a great and ingenious way to kind of catch up the reader. So I got a big kick out of that. And I think I just saw it in the chats. Yeah, it is a great re-entry into the series. Crossover, Donny Cates, writer, Jeff Shaw on art, and obviously of the same team from God Country fame. And I dig what they're doing, man. I like them as a team. Jeff Shaw's art, colorful, vibrant, and very much fits, what this story is about. The clashing of the superhero world with like the real world, and the big reveal a couple issues back was that our main character, I believe her name is Ellipsis Ellie. She is actually from the superhero world, right?
From like do you mean like DC universe, like that stuff?
So it's like kind of like the Donny Cates verse, the Image verse, but
Right.
it's been a whole like just they've been bringing in like they've brought in The Walking Dead, Savage Dragon, Hit Girl made an appearance, a whole bunch of like characters, and they'll drop little Easter eggs in the background and stuff. So it's been cool.
Would you say it's sticking to its namesake, being a crossover?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the whole premise is the crossover, right? But I think, as a geek, I think we were all hoping and dreaming, maybe some crazy, like DC characters. As crazy as that sounds, like with the IPs and how hard that is and stuff. But nothing crazy, nothing too crazy in terms of like DC or Marvel characters making appearances. But yeah, just a great issue, fun. I think just entertaining, moving the story forward. So I enjoyed that. Definitely recommend that to everybody if you guys can pick up a copy of that. My number 2 issue though, guys, and this one here, very very high on, not just as a single issue, but as a series as a whole so far. I gotta say, absolutely loving and digging Darling. This has been an absolute gem of a series.
Serge, who are the creators on Darling?
Let me give a shout out to the creators, man. Let's go to the credits here. We got Michael Fleischak and Todd Hunt. They are the writers. You've got
Serge.
Dave Mims.
Interesting, because we've got a Todd Hunt in the chat mentioning we'll be doing a certain 2-page spread like in crossover. So, Serge, if you enjoyed crossover, maybe you're going to enjoy the next Darling arc even more.
Steve, you set me up there, buddy. I did not notice Mr. Todd Hunt was in the chat. Shout out, Todd, man. Hey, man, digging what you guys are doing. Dave Mims on art and color, who is just doing some great, really psychedelic, raw graffiti style, just gritty artwork that's really fitting with the tone and the vibes of this book. So for those who are unfamiliar, Darling, it's a story. It's a book set in like the early 1980s, I believe 81, New York City, Hell's Kitchen, wintertime. So right there, kind of wild, crazy time period, right? And it's a story about our main character by the name of Francis Darling. He's a heroin addict, and it's about a story. It's kind of hard to put into words, man. But you're just going down this crazy kind of almost Alice in Wonderland kind of rabbit hole, where I think it started off. He's looking to cop some dope, and you've got this great set of characters. The director and Mr. Finch, who he goes over to their place, and in the midst of this, there's a little girl missing in Hell's Kitchen, and you've got like these warring kind of drug factions looking for her. What I love about this book, man, is just, for me, there's just like an undeniable, just what's the best way to put it? Like a charm to this series, man. Despite like the subject matter, it's you got like murders and kidnappings and addiction,
Yeah.
But somehow it's just it's a charming, it's a fun read. And I gotta say, one of the characters who I absolutely love, Steve, if you want to just go through the panels there, this guy right here, with the aviator goggles, he's a character by the name of Mr. Finch, and he's what we, think is absolutely Ian. Grab it, man. Can't recommend it enough. He's like a fourth grader, seemingly fourth grader, fourth grader, and he somehow manages, guys, to steal the show, despite not having a single line of dialogue in the whole book. I love it, man. So how issue 4 ends, it definitely we know it's gonna continue, which I wasn't aware before I got into issue number 4. I thought it was a 4-issue mini. So, but you see, definitely they're just setting things up. We're just getting started, hopefully, and I'm absolutely looking forward to the rest of this. And there's a big reveal there at the end, and did not see that coming. Some crazy stuff, and then we also get an origin story for the big bad in this book. She goes by the name of Queen's B, I want to say, or Queen's Ruby. Sorry, Queen's Ruby. I'm thinking a little Kim. Queen's Ruby, who's like the baddest bitch in Hell's Kitchen. The leader of one of the drug factions. I can't say, like, just a good time, fun stuff, man.
You've been a huge champion for this book. Like, it's always in your top 3 whenever you end up reading an issue.
Definitely when issue 1 came out, it cracked my top 3. I spoke about it then, and started off strong, finished strong. Everything in between was great. And I gotta say too, guys, now if you haven't read it yet, I think now is the perfect opportunity, because as good as it was reading it issue to issue, it's that much better reading it through
trade or all together. Yeah,
I reread issue 1, 2, 3, 4, and just you're picking up on different things and stuff. So just fantastic, because there's times where you're really like, man, I don't know if this is like a drug fueled,
Yeah, I've seen some people mention that in the chat where they're like, is this all a hazy dream? Is this a nightmare? What's going on?
And it's crazy. And so I like the kind of the synergy with the art and the storytelling. It's got that kind of hazy, we don't know what's going on, man, right?
That sounds cool.
It's great stuff.
Yeah, very, very ambiguous. Like, but that was only your number 2.
That was my number 2. So, guys, please, man, if you guys have an opportunity, pick up Darling at your bookstores.
It's by Source Point Press.
Source Point Press, yeah, and I know you can still get it, because I had one of my peoples on Twitter. They saw my review and they said, "My dude, you gotta get those books for me." They hit me up, and I looked into it. I ordered the books in, so still available if you guys can get them. Dave Mims here. Hey, shout out Dave Mims. Thank you guys for stopping by the show. And I think one of those things is just get the word out, guys, because it's a great book, and it's criminally, the only thing criminal about this book is it's underrated, man, not being spoken about enough. In all honesty, yeah, it's dope. And I don't know, man. Steve, I feel like we gotta get these guys on the show at some point down the road.
Yeah, Todd, Dave, whenever you're available, let us know. Shoot us slide in our DMs, as those kids say, as those teenagers say.
Slide into the DM.
I don't know. That's what people say. I don't know.
I've heard that's the phrase.
Is that a phrase?
I've heard that is the phrase.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm not positive, but I've heard.
Down you up on the old rotary, but that works too. Slide into the DMs. Okay.
What about the cans with the string?
We can do that too.
It works.
We can do that too. So fantastic stuff. Check it out, Darling. Source Point Press, man. Can't say enough good things about it. My number 1 book this week. I didn't think Darling was gonna be topped. Squeaked it out, man. Gun Honey.
I'd like to say I'm shocked at this revelation, but I'm totally not shocked at this revelation after reading the book.
Reading it, yeah.
I'm like, Serge is gonna love this book.
Gun Honey is right up my alley, and that is our Copper Drop book of the week, though. So
yeah, I'm
gonna get into my thoughts in that segment. Excuse me, a little later on in the show, but clearly it's my number 1. So I think, spoiler alert, you guys know what my decision will be regarding the book. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. More to come on that.
More to come. I like that. Steve,
Okay, so hold on. So
your
top three for the week, Serge, were number 3,
Crossover number 8, Darling number 4, and Honey Gun number 1, guys. Got to show the indie crowd some love, man. So,
as you said, I mean, Chris doesn't appear to be doing it, so we got to have Sergio.
I was disappointed. I gotta say, I'm a little heartbroken there, Chris. Well, we're gonna have to do something about that later on in the show. I'll get to that later.
I did read some indies. They just weren't the top.
Fair enough.
They just weren't up to caliber for Chris's high standards.
Right. I didn't get the Sweet Paprika number 3. I only read the first 2 this week.
Did number 3 already came out?
I thought it did, unless the review copy just came early.
Oh, okay.
So I can't keep track of the schedule sometimes.
This guy's reading so many comics. Many comics he can't keep track.
That's true.
Speaking of comics, I've read quite a few for this week.
Yeah.
As usual, Marvel bullshit. Amazing Spider-Man. This is Nick Spencer's finale. They like mentioning it's Legacy 875. I don't like the fact that Nick Spencer's run feels like it ended early. I've already stated how I feel about that. In terms of it being a finale for his run, it does a pretty good job at it.
Yeah.
I don't really look forward to the next, 25 issues of Beyond or whatever they plan on doing. In terms of it being a conclusion, I think it worked as best as it could for it being an ongoing book. There's never, ever going to be a true conclusion to a Spider-Man book because there's always going to be more. So I'm pretty happy with what was delivered.
Yeah.
In terms of other books that I read, we'll go to my top 3 because I didn't expect this book at all to make my top 3. I read it on a whim because I was kind of keeping up with it, and I clicked on it, and X-Men Unlimited. This is a Marvel Unlimited exclusive book. They've been doing a lot of it for their rebrand with the Infinity Comics line of things. The first 4 Infinity Comic X-Men Unlimited books were written by Jonathan Hickman. Hickman is since leaving. This book, number 5, has been taken over by Jerry Duggan. And if you want to hear some of our thoughts on Jerry Duggan, check out our State of X video. I didn't expect anything from this book. And holy shit, you guys, if you're an X-Men fan, if you have Marvel Unlimited, check out this book.
Okay.
I like the colors, the art, and just the story of it is so amazing. So far, this line of books, in terms of the Hickman stuff, have focused on Wolverine and some other characters. Duggan's going in the opposite direction. Duggan's looking at Nature Girl is so far the primary focus for this book, and things get really dark in this book, and I was so shocked at what happened with it. Don't sleep on this. Again, if you have a subscription to Marvel Unlimited, don't sleep on this issue because this issue is amazing. I really enjoyed it, and I had no expectations.
So a digital only, and it's focusing a little bit more on like the minor or obscure characters.
Absolutely, okay. Yeah. Focusing entirely on Nature Girl, and man, am I excited to see what happens in the issue that hopefully drops next week because it's a weekly thing.
Nice.
So yeah, I know some people they don't really like the digital comics, don't really read a lot of that. Like yeah, but I will say again, if you do already have a subscription for Marvel Unlimited, do not sleep on X-Men Unlimited number 5.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. Number 3, Steven.
That was my number 3.
Number 2, bud.
My number 2, interestingly enough, it was my choice for Copper Drop. 10 Years to Death. It's an Aftershock one-shot.
I feel like you're putting it into your top 3 just to kind of prop up your Copper Drop pick there. You got some of that going on, or
I don't think so. I think you're reaching. I think you're reaching. With it being a one-shot, there's so much to love about that because you pick it up one and done, and you get a complete story. And I felt that way with this book. Like there's so much to love about it. It's creepy in a way because of the story. The narrative is very much so. It's a character telling a story to another character, and then you see that story play out. So there's different kind of things happening in it. It's a story about an uncle telling his nephew something that happened to him, that week. And it's a creepy story, but it's one that I think I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the one shot of God of Tremors. It might not be as diversive as God of Tremors is, but it's a very good story. If you just want to pick up a comic, read about 50 to 60 pages or so of something, and put it down, this is a great book. This is a great book to do that.
This is Aftershock's prestige format, the oversized. Yeah.
So just like God of Tremors, it is that big old square book. It may not fit on your shelf,
which are a pain in the ass to store. I'll be honest, man. I don't pick up the physical copies of those books. Just for that. They don't fit in my box. So get out of here.
But on those.
Yeah. So that's your number 2, Steve.
That's my number 2. Yes, my number 1, 2. Mm-hmm. No one's surprised. Like, no one should be shocked at this revelation. It is X-Men Inferno number 1 by Jonathan Hickman. Like, how could it not be? Like, if anyone has read this story and by the time it finishes goes, oh yeah, that's like a number 5 or something, I don't know what you're thinking, because this book is such a number 1. Like, it is so damn good. And again, this, like I said before, it feels like a setup, and we have 3 more issues to go before all of the stuff falls apart and Jonathan Hickman walks away and other people are left. I don't know what is going to happen when Hickman leaves, but as he is here for the next 3 more issues, I can't wait to see what he does. This has all been set up. Go read House of X, Powers of 10, if you haven't yet, because this is the payoff for some of the stuff that's been going on for the last 2 years, 2.5 years or so.
Who doesn't like a good payoff, eh?
Like, Hickman excels at long form storytelling. Usually it takes him 5 years. So far, this has only been 2 or so.
Okay.
Like, don't sleep on any of the Hickman stuff. Any of the stuff that he's written for his X-Men line of things, it's cropping up in this book. And like I said before, when Chris was talking about it, I didn't expect some of the things to come back, and they are. And the focus of this book, the focus that Hickman is putting on some of the antagonists and some of the characters, I didn't think that it would be a huge thing for this book. Chris, what are some of your other thoughts?
Like you said, it's not so much that we're seeing all the big characters, but like this page here, these are characters people wouldn't really pay attention to unless you read like 10 of Swords or X of Swords. You wouldn't really pay attention to these characters, but they're important. And everything Hickman did initially is important now. And not only is it surprising the way everything comes together, but it's not just one story. It's other pieces of the story too. Like, just going through these screenshots, each of these are like a different part of the story.
Yeah.
And it all comes together and it's cohesive. It's not like a mess, like I'm getting too much of this and not enough of this. He knows what's important and he utilizes that. And it's easy for a new reader, I think. Even if you did not read the previous stuff, I think a new reader can pick this up and just get it. It's not really that complicated.
Really, you think so? So would I be able to, not knowing a lick of what's going on, be able to kind of just get into this story?
I think so. All you got to know is Krakoa is like their own paradise. And they can bring each other back from the dead. That's really all you got to know.
Okay.
It's pretty straightforward, and it's a good read. I can't speak enough about it, really.
Yeah. Beautiful colors, like the coloring of these X books, House of X, Powers of 10, and even Inferno. The coloring's fucking amazing. Like, I can't believe how beautiful the book looks. And its action, like, in terms of the action, the motion works really well. And in terms of some of those other parts where it's just characters talking, there's so much detail. I've talked a lot about like how they add like little Kirby crackle in like Cyclops' visor. Like, there's so much. I love it. I love the detail.
The little details make it. Like, even Wolverine, who we've seen millions of times in comics, he looks so good in this book. And it's just the little details that make it.
I was just about to point out that I dig Wolverine's look from those screeners you had up. the brown and the gold, the classic suit, the short ears, and he's just thick and stocky. I mean, the art looks fantastic. I mean, it made both your guys #1 pick of the week for a reason. So it sounds like just a strong quality read, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So my top 3 for this week. Number 3, exclusive to Marvel Unlimited, was X-Men Unlimited #5. Number 2 was 10 Years to Death, and number 1 is X-Men Inferno #1.
Jeff, you should have been here earlier for our ASMR episode of the House of Nerd Show with Steven and Chris.
You're gonna have to rewind it and then check it out because there's a lot of good stuff right there.
Hit the replay button, thank you. And
hold on, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe because we need that stuff to keep doing this. We live off of your subscriptions and your likes. Please like us.
Oh man. Hey guys, I just before we move on to the next segment, I wanted to mention about Darling one thing, and I think this is a fantastic idea. So 30% of the proceeds from the sales of those books go to programs or donated to programs that help, I guess, for addiction recovery, addiction, all that good stuff. So if you need another reason to go out and look for those books, there you have it, folks. Can't be beat, man. It's great stuff. Yeah. What are we moving on to, Steve? What do we have?
We've got a special second segment, LCS Showcase. We've talked about our favorite bookstores quite often on this show. So we thought, you know what? Why don't we actually make a whole segment? Give them an actual, shout out, showcase them. So Chris, we're going to start with you. What's your favorite LCS? Which is your go-to and why?
I go to the one it's convenient because it's down the street from my house, but I've been going to this one since before I lived closer to it. It's called Madness Games and Comics, or Comics and Games. I can't remember the subtitle ever. There it is. And
I love this.
I love this store. It's gigantic. When you walk in, there's like comics wall to wall, and then they have all the great collectibles I like because I like buying useless crap. It's what I do, and they have a bunch of it. And they also have this one area, which I don't play the games, but I think they're just kind of cool to see. They have a whole area for tabletop gaming that's sectioned off. And I think that's really cool because you don't get a lot of that in comic book stores. Generally, comic stores are here anyway are smaller, and it's just books. That's it. They rarely have anything else cool. This store, though, they give you comics, collectibles. You have the gaming stuff. And they just have like you can see in this picture, they have that huge Batman statue. That huge Wonder Woman, which is actually kind of creepy because she's in the corner now. And one time I was there, I was looking at toys. I turned around, she was just there. I didn't get scared, you guys did. But it's a really cool store. And they have a great selection of the popular titles. You'll never miss out on a title if it's one of the bigger ones there.
So Ian, who's coming to us live from Tokyo, Japan, somehow says he goes to that LCS Too Curious. Okay.
I go there in the morning, Ian.
Okay, there you go. And for everyone in the, I think this is a great opportunity for everyone in the live chats, man. Shout out, the fantastic comic book shops, yeah, man, and we'll throw them up here, man. Time Warp in Boulder, Colorado. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. That's dope, man. And it's curious that you said that about like the whole RPG tabletop games, because at least here in Toronto, I find most, if not all, the shops, they're heavy on that stuff. Like what is the MTG stuff and like
Magic the Gathering,
Warhammer.
It's cardboard craft. Warhammer probably. It's probably Warhammer 40K.
Yeah, all that.
They even have like huge glass cases of. Again, I'm not too familiar with how things work, but they have the tiny figurines that you could buy and all kinds of stuff. And now they've even started art classes on the weekends, I believe, which is cool. Like I saw someone teaching people how to draw Wonder Woman the other day. That's badass. And the staff is always really friendly as well. Like I've been to a lot of comic book stores, and it's nice to see a friendly staff. Well, I'll put it like that. Nice to see someone who welcomes you and can actually assist you in picking something new.
Absolutely. I think especially for for new readers, right?
Yeah,
that's a huge
into
thing.
The comic book game, it can be a little bit overwhelming, I think, right? You don't know where to start, and there's a bit of that kind of. I don't see it too much these days, but I have, that snooty kind of mentality.
Yeah.
Of, oh, well, you're not familiar with this, or you're not a
gatekeeping,
30-year veteran.
Right? That's still a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
It sucks. It's okay, Who's next up on the comic book showcase, Steve? Is it me or
we'll go with you. We'll go with you. We've got a certain thing set up for Surge.
Okay. So one of my LCSs, man, Cyber City Comics here in Toronto, an absolute gem of a shop, fantastic staff, fantastic owner. So I shot a little bit of footage. Steve, if you want to roll it,
yeah,
and we'll get into it, man. Yeah. Cyber City Comics, my LCS. I dig it over here.
Where is that?
The reason I come here every week, star of the shop, Ruby. All right, so I'm here at Cyber City Comics, my local comic book shop. I'm here with Daryl, the owner of said comic shop. Daryl, what's going on, buddy?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just a quick wanted to ask you a couple questions. Tell me a little bit about Cyber City. What makes this place so great? I mean, I love it. I see the customers here love it. How long you been in business? How'd you get into the comics industry?
I have my dog here. We've had this store now I've had this store now 26 years. I always loved comics as a kid, and then eventually got a job at a store, and then eventually took that over as a flea market store, and then eventually after that, few years of that, I went full time, and now it's been 26 years since full time. I just want a fun vibe. I want a kind of place that I would have wanted to visit when I was a kid. So I want to have it where people come in like, oh wow, this is great. I like coming here.
Yep.
And there's product all over the place, so you can stand in the middle of the store, and no matter where you look, there's product somewhere.
All over. You guys carry extensive back issues. You got your new books, statues, pops. You got your card games and stuff too. And then one of the big reasons I come here is Ruby, the mascot.
Serge, it's looking like a beautiful store there. I think you have to unmute yourself.
So guys, one of the things I love, a lot of comments in the chats is Ruby, the dog man. Absolutely love her. She greets me every time I jump in there. Love this shop, man. They've got it's not huge in physical space, but man, do they got a lot of stock. I actually went. I think this was filmed on a Thursday night, so the shelves are as full as they are. They're typically even fuller. Like I was saying, a lot of back issues, man. You can find a lot of older stuff there, just little hidden gems and stuff. And the amount of pops that they've got is pretty crazy. Absolutely love coming here, man. Fantastic staff. Fantastic owner, fantastic books, statues, everything. And then I love that dog, man. Ruby, shout out to Ruby, man. She's a gem, man. You can't beat that. I mean, who's not gonna go to a shop where the dog greets you every time you come in, man? You gotta love it, man. This is Cyber City Comics, man, over here. So listen, guys, I just wanted to give the shout out and thank you to Cyber City Comics here. You can see there's their logo, local Toronto shop, man. One of my favorites, one of the best shops in Toronto, in the city. Daryl, anything you'd like to tell the audience, man, about your shop? Where can they find you, bud?
We're at Bathurst and Steeles.
Yep.
1025 Steeles Avenue West.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the second floor, so if you do come to our mall, make sure you look up.
Yep.
Thank you for your kind words. We try to make a shop where everyone feels kind of welcome, and you can discuss stuff with people, and we have lots of product and things you can enjoy, and just, it's a great time to be a geek, and
for sure,
there's lots of outlets to do stuff, and you can go on YouTube and watch cool shows talking about comics.
Awesome. And do you have a website or an email where people can hit you up?
Email is info@cybercitycomics.com.
Yep.
Remember, comics is spelled COMIX.
Oh, there you go.
You can check out our website, www.cybercitycomics.com.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate all the great community that you're building here in
Thank
Toronto.
you, man. I'm glad
All right.
you're here.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy.
I'm sorry. Yo, you guys in the chats are killing me, man. I'm glad my mic was muted because I think I was laughing. He absolutely did greet me, Ian. Okay, and the heavy breathing. I was wearing my mask, man. You know, I was like, social distancing and all that good stuff, man. Safety measures in place, but yeah, man. So that's Cyber City Comics, man. You know, we got a lot of viewers in the GTA in the Toronto area. So if you haven't already, man, definitely recommend checking them out, man. Check them out. Support these fantastic comic book shops. And
I'm glad someone else noticed the food too. Elle commented on that. I was looking at that too. I was like, hey, that's
it was dinner time. And if you guys are in the area, man, there's a great Vietnamese restaurant just beside it. So good comics, good eating, and then it was quiet during the there was no music playing in the background during the little interview there. But I gotta say, man, it's the only shop that I've ever been to who's got on regular rotation. You got Wu-Tang playing in the background, Nas, all the great 90s hip hop joints. So check them out. Can't recommend them enough, man.
That's amazing, Serge.
Yeah.
And then for my LCS, it's at the East End, closer to East York and Scarborough. It's called the Comic Room, and like Serge, I put together something special for it. Unfortunately, the owner, Troy, wasn't able to make it, so I don't have a great interview with Serge set up, but here are my thoughts on the Comic Room.
Yes, sir.
Hello, fellow comic readers in the East End of Toronto, or possibly even Scarborough. There is a comic shop that you may not know about, and it's called The Comic Room at 659 McCowan Road. Now, I say this because this is my LCS, my local comic shop. I love everything that they're doing at The Comic Room. I've been to many different stores around Toronto, and each one of them have their own different feel. The Comic Room is one that it just is so welcoming, from the amazing staff to all the different customers that end up showing up. Do you want single issues? Because they've got them. Do you want trades? They have those too. There's a kids corner. It's 2 stories. The first story is all about the current stuff. You'll find a lot of different action figures, a lot of different statues. You'll find, obviously, the current weeks in terms of individual issues, as well as recently released trades. And then you go down those stairs, and it is just filled with a backlog of older comics. If you're trying to find something for your collection, you head down those stairs, and they'll creak because they've been used. This store has been around for decades in the East End, and you feel it when you walk around in that basement trying to find these older comics. Everything is labeled out perfectly for you. If you're looking for a specific writer, they have that labeled. The top writers, the ones that everyone goes to, they have sections dedicated to them. When you're trying to find a certain collection in terms of trades, they have those too. From all the indies to the big 2, they have each section organized so you can find what you're looking for. And even if you don't know what you're looking for, the people that work there are absolutely phenomenal at making you feel like you belong. Not once have I ever had an incident where I didn't feel like I belonged in there. And that's all to Troy, and that's all to the rest of the staff there, because they're absolutely amazing at the Comic Room. Just when I went there today, I ended up seeing so many different people, from little kids picking up their first comic to teenagers and then adults. And each one, the store felt like it was purposely built for all of them. There was not a single point where they didn't feel welcomed. And I think a lot of that has to do with the people that are running it. They're absolutely amazing people. If you're looking for long boxes, if you're looking for posters, if you're looking for pretty much anything comic related, the Comic Room on McCowan has it. They're honestly my favorite LCS I've ever been to. I keep going back to them because it's just so welcoming. Welcome to my TED Talk on the Comic Room.
Yo, I absolutely, my dude, I love that. And we got a comment here. Yes,
I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You had me in stitches, Frank. Absolutely, man. I gotta say, Steve, your narration game is top tier.
Oh, thank you.
Man.
That was my yesterday. Just putting those two together, and
Wow.
if I had more time, maybe I'd get some more in there.
That was great, man. And listen, you saw me. I'm gonna check them out. It's on the other end of the city for me, but I'll stop in, man.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I said, I've been to a bunch of different stores in Toronto. Each one is different, and this one makes me feel like home. This one, it's the people working there. They absolutely
no.
There's no gatekeeping, like what you were talking about before. Like I've been to other places, and I've had that feeling of like, oh, you're not a real comic reader, and then I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not. I'm only reading like Marvel, so. Yeah, you're right. I should probably leave. And this place doesn't care. They don't care if you've never read a book before. They don't care if you're just browsing. They'll treat you like a person. It's so nice.
I dig it. And I'm gonna put in a request. Get in line because I've got Steve lined up to narrate the life and story of.
If you write something for me, give me some time. I might be able to whip up something for you.
Absolutely, man. That was great, man. Great stuff. So, thank you to all the amazing comic book shops, not only here in the city, everywhere, man, who's, really a big part of building comics community, man, which is fantastic, man.
Yeah. As always, we love our shops, whether you're, picking up statues or, physical individual issues or even trades, we love the stores. And we want to keep giving back to them because the comic medium isn't what it is without those stores.
Like a horror movie point of view.
Man, I think we've gone off the rails here for the 25th episode.
All right, let's get to this discussion.
Yes.
It is not about ASMR. It's not about heavy breathing. It is about the comics. We're talking story versus art.
Yes.
This was Sergio's idea. Why don't you kick things off, Serge? What are your thoughts when it comes to story versus art in comic books?
Story versus art, man. I think sorry, just blanking here, man. You guys got me distracted as fuck. Obviously, story versus art. I think, let me start off by saying there's no right or definitive answer. Art, obviously, writing it's all subjective. So I think more so for me, what I want out of this conversation is just really, what is it for you guys? Which one is more important to you personally, right? What makes you want to stick with a book or check out a book in the first place, right? Is it the story, the premise, the synopsis that draws you in, or are you like me, where if you have not, you don't know anything about the creative team, you don't know really anything about the story, you're just at your shop, and oh hey, look, that's a cool cover, but I don't know anything about it. You flip through, and the story is appealing or not appealing to you. Like what will keep you from picking up a book, or what will keep you?
All right. So what is it for you, Serge?
Let's kick it off with Chris, man. I want to hear Chris's thoughts. What's most important to you when it comes to just a good comic book, man?
Well, you and I have talked a lot about comics, and for me, art is very particular. I am very particular with the art. There's stuff I just don't like. I don't like overly cartoony stuff, kind of like what's going on in the Harley Quinn main book right now. And I don't like that scratchy kind of art that you don't even know what you're looking at. I'm very particular that way. But what brings me to most books is going to be the art. Like if I'm walking around my local comic shop and I want to see something new, I'm going to check out the art first. Yeah. And Moon Knight from Marvel is one of my absolute favorite characters. What drew me to him was the art, because I saw his costume. Like, hey, that's cool. But at the same time, art can't fix a bad story. If the story's crap, I don't care what I'm looking at. Like Batman Damned is a great example for me. I didn't enjoy the story. The art was cool, but I didn't enjoy the story. And because of that, I've never gone back to that book. So I'm more like, the story is the most important. The art will get me there, but it's the story that I need to keep me there, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, man. The story, it sounds like for a lot of people in the comments too, is, the art is what gets you kind of in the door, right? Through the door, right? It's initially gonna be that, oh, hey, that shit looks cool, man. Steve, what do you think? For you personally, what's more important to you? A well-written story, a good story, or it's just some dope, sick-looking art?
This is one that you mentioned doing this discussion, and since you told me about that, I've been thinking about my feelings on that, and I still don't know, because I want to say story, but then I'm like, bad art can really ruin a story. Like, as good as the story is, bad art can make you not want to, like what Chris said, make you not want to keep reading. Like, I remember for Teal Comic Book Club, there's this one book, Daphne Byrne, and it was recommended a lot. And so, we ended up reading it. And the art in that is very stylized. And for those that love it, good for you. It particularly wasn't for me. And I felt like in that way, it affected my perception of the story and other aspects of the book too. So I think it's a certain degree, right? So as good as a story is, if the art to you is so terrible, I think it can drag it down. But I think there's a threshold, right? I think there's like a certain limit where you're like, okay, the art is acceptable for me. It's not affecting my opinion of the story. And if it goes below that threshold, then it will. I think for me, it's like that. I do enjoy the story more. When I pick up a book, I usually go off of the synopsis. I'll go, that sounds cool. Who's reading, or like who's writing it? Who's doing the art? And then I'll pick it up. I won't really flip through. I don't really flip through the books and go, oh, that looks really cool. I'll just base it off, like you said, Serge, maybe the cover, but for me, mostly it's like the synopsis and who's writing it. And then it's, how the actual book will determine that. So I think story gets me in, art is acceptable until a certain threshold. And then that's kind of where it stands for me. So I think it's like a combination of the two for me that really works. I don't think to me, great art can save a story. Like if the art is amazing and I don't really like the story, it's fun to look at, but I'm not going to pick up the next issue, even though it looks pretty, right?
Yeah. You know what? I like what you said there, though, in terms of like the threshold. Yeah. I never thought about it in that because for sure, I mean, me personally, I got to say, I guess it depends on the circumstance, right? But, I mentioned earlier, I don't know the creative team. I don't know Synopsis. I flip open a book. If the art doesn't appeal to me, I'm just putting it back on the shelf right away. I'm not even gonna question it. Just okay, back on the shelf. Doesn't appeal to me. Now, like if I'm pre-ordering books, clearly I'm going off of like Synopsis, right? That sounds interesting. I'll look into the creative team, and artwork plays a role even then too, right? But in terms of like threshold, like if the art is just like straight up like I'm not feeling it at all, then unfortunately I'm not even going to give that book a chance, and maybe sometimes I'm missing out, but I mean I'll talk about, I'm not going to mention the book, but there was a book that I read very recently, and right away the art style was not really my cup of tea. So it was a little off-putting,
right?
But the story was so good, it was written so well that it just kind of, it elevated the book as a whole,
right?
And that by the end of the read, I wasn't really focused on the art, and I was actually looking at the ways it was complementing the story, even though it still really, wasn't my preference. But, I think what a lot of people have said, and I'll agree with myself too, is, great art is cool, but what's going to keep me coming back? I mean, the story's got to be there. The writing's got to be there,
Well, to go against that point, though, Ian made a certain point, right? So he said, imagine reading a comic without art. Wouldn't make sense. But you can understand a lot of the comic if you take away the writing. And that's true because, but I mean, the story still has to be there in a sense. Like, look at one of the most acclaimed Hawkeye issues from Fraction and Nahaha's run. It was the Pizza Dog one. I forget which issue it's one, but that one, there's no dialogue in it. It's just a series of images, and there's writing behind it saying, what's happening in this story. But other than that, there's nothing else in terms of the writing for the story, and the art carries it in a way. So it's kind of I don't know, like the story. Yeah, I think Ian makes a very interesting point. Like if you take away the writing and you still have the images, it can still be a comic. But if you take away the images and just have the dialogue and just have the text boxes,
well, if you've got dialogue, I mean, then you just, if there's no art, then you just got prose, right? I mean, if you've got no dialogue, then you're just looking at an art gallery. Really, is how I look at it. Anyway,
it's a different thing if you take away one or the other. It's not the same. A comic book it's a visual medium, like someone said in the comics. I think you have to have both. It's kind of like when you watch a movie, and if it looks pretty but the story sucks, you're not going to sit there.
Yeah. But for this discussion, we're going head to head. We're going Godzilla versus Kong, which is the better one, as Ian puts it, which is most important. I think that's for this discussion. We could take the easy. I'm standing on the fence. Both are good, but let's lay stakes in the lawn. Chris, to you, definitively, which do you think is more important?
The hill I'll take a nap on is story.
I love
story
it.
is more important.
Yeah.
Okay, Serge.
You know what I'll say, as I've gotten older and just more, story has become more important to me. At the end of the day, if the story, if it's not written well, then I'm not gonna continue a book. That's the most. When a story just hits, when it's written so well, it hits like nothing else. Great art is amazing, and it's beautiful to look at, but great story hits harder for me than great art does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I look at a lot of things that I've copper dropped in the past, right now I'm thinking of like Batman Reptilian. The art was amazing in it. It's very stylistic for the book. It sets a great tone. But at the end of the day, I didn't like the writing that I was reading in it.
Right.
I didn't like the characters that were written. I didn't like the story. And as pretty as the art is, as beautiful and stylistic as the books are, I think I agree with you, Serge. Like if it's not all there for me personally, I'm not going to get invested. At the end of the day, we're reading soap operas. Let's be honest. We're reading stories that continue, and we want to be entertained through storytelling. The art is amazing, but
I like both, but
it's coming in hot today.
That's a great example, though, Steve. Reptilian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, right?
The artwork by Liam Sharp, that is some of the best stuff I've seen in the comic book.
Yeah, but I'm not reading issue 2 or 3 or however many they do.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that. Did you want to pull up a couple of just examples of what we're talking about here, Steve, or you want to save that for?
Yeah, we can real quick, because you had thoughts.
Yeah, just Action Comics. This is one of those stories. I was reading all of the run, Bendis's run, and prior to that, I've been collecting Superman several years. And for me, this is a good example of the art was so jarring, just so off-putting that I couldn't take it anymore. I put it down. I said, I can't continue. again, a visual medium, right? If it's not, especially if the story is not hitting with you to begin with, right?
Yeah.
So if the art's not there, that's a little rough. Now, Night of the Cadillacs. Okay, so this dropped this week, and both myself, Chris, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think in terms of the whole story versus art topic with this book? Where does that sit with you?
So when you suggested I read this because it was going to be part of the discussion, I was like, okay, I haven't heard of this. I'd seen it on my timeline, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So as I was reading, I was like, oh, this is a perfect example of what we're going to talk about, because I think the art is beautiful. It's very unique looking. It has a very cool style to it. I like what I'm looking at for the majority of this book, even if I don't understand what's going on, because they just drop you in the middle of this story. But it's cool to look at. But then on the story end of it, I don't think I want to read any more of this. I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't an equal partnership on this one. I think the artist left the script behind and just said, I'm going to make some pretty pictures and you guys stick around if you want.
Yeah. Chris, I could not agree with you more. In Cookie Monster, we got over here. Night of the Cadillacs is gorgeous, but the story is so stale and the dialogue is cringe.
Yes. I cringed a couple times.
Man, I don't disagree. You guys, you were literally just kind of dropped in. There's like no exposition in this issue at all. There's no kind of character motivations and no kind of explanation. But
That looks like James Franco.
But man, it's a nice book to look at. It's just vibrant, and I dig the style, the aesthetic. This book heavily influenced by the LA culture, the gang culture, the car culture. You got your cholas in there and all that. So that stuff, it appealed to me, and I'll say I picked this book as my copper drop, based off of the preview pages I saw, the art and the synopsis. Despite the dialogue and just the kind of the pacing, I honestly thought, I'm like, this is some cool shit. I dig what they're trying to do. I thought it was entertaining in the sense of, something different, right? But it was just executed poorly, man.
Wait, was this a cop pick? Was this the one that I was away? I think I was away for this.
I don't know, but it ended up winning for the cop or drop.
Okay, so with that being said, would you recommend it cop or drop?
Okay, so I don't think. I'll say this: the synopsis was like it's fun. The best way I can describe it is cool. It's some cool shit. I had a tough time going through it. Now, if it wasn't for the art, I would not even think twice about picking up this book. But because I'm hoping for something a little bit better, I would say cop it. I'm honestly, and I am gonna cop it. I'm gonna give it one more issue. But like if it's more of that just kind of wonky and chunky kind of dialogue and storytelling, yeah.
I'll pick it.
Oh, there you go. That's right. Yeah.
It kind of feels like a David Ayer movie as a comic.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris. Absolutely. And David Ayer, he grew up, he was a banger back in the day, right? He grew up in LA. And it's, like the writers, like you got these white writers who are writing this book. But it's heavily influenced by that LA culture that they grew up in, right? And I absolutely had that same thought. David Ayer writing this. This book, Night of the Cadillacs feels like a cheesy movie of the week on Netflix type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, Chris, would you cop or drop this book? What are you saying? Like, would you pick up an issue number 2?
I'm a little. My immediate reaction is no. I'm going to drop this quickly, but then I'm seeing the art again. I'm like, I kind of want to see where this is going.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
I have no idea what we even read.
Yeah.
All right, so an impromptu copper drop in the middle of our discussion ended up being a copper night at the Cadillacs. But I mean, I guess there you have it in terms of most of you are leaning towards story, and then the art is something that is needed. And for others in the chat, it seems like the art is something that is a huge focal point.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. It seems, at least from the chats and what we've seen on the socials, a lot of people lean more towards the artist being most important to them.
Yeah.
Which, hey, however you enjoy the comic medium, like we said, there's no wrong way to enjoy the
opinions
comic.
are not facts.
Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, give us your thoughts if you didn't already in the chat. Tweet at us at House of Nerd Show. Let us know on this discussion. Which do you prefer, as Ian states? Which is more important to you, art or story in a comic book? Because there we can keep that discussion rolling for the show.
For anybody who's read Night of the Cadillacs, let us know if you're going to continue, if you're going to cop it or you're going to drop it. Because I'm curious to hear, like, if for you guys the art was strong enough, despite the writing, to continue reading that book.
Ian is on something.
Yeah, Ian's on our case for sure. He's not letting us have it easy.
Ian, personally,
keeping us on our toes.
Personally, Ian, I don't call myself a comic reviewer at all. So I'm just some guy.
We're just nerds who enjoy the comics, man. Yeah.
We're nerds who like to read comics, and occasionally we like to talk about those comics in a comic book club that occurs on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm talking TO Comic Book Club, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. ET, Eastern Time, for those that don't know what ET stands for. This week's book, Infidel. And I said it was a special big thing because this week, this Tuesday, 8 p.m. ET, we're going to be talking with the artist of Infidel, Aaron Campbell. He'll be on for the discussion.
Whoa, that's dope, man.
Yeah, so
the artist.
Yeah, so if you love Aaron Campbell's work, want to find out more about his process, want to talk with him about Infidel, come join us on our Discord where we will be doing the discussion this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Infidel. You can find out the Discord link on our Twitter at TO Comic Book Club. There you will find the Discord link. Come join us again. Aaron Campbell, this is the first time we've ever had an artist on for a discussion, so I'm looking forward to that. We've had a bunch of different creators on before, and all of those have gone on like so well. So come check out Infidel. Come discuss it with artist Aaron Campbell.
That's awesome, man. Right on. So that's Tuesday at 8 p.m., man. Hope everybody, comes through for that one. That's what who publishes that?
That is I couldn't tell you right now. I couldn't tell you.
That's dope.
It is available on Hoopla. So if you do have Hoopla, if you have a library card, you should be able to read it there.
And apparently also on Comixology. So
yep.
There you go, guys, man. Yeah. And we had a bunch of, in terms of Night of the Cadillacs, we had a Cop, Cookie Monster. The art is strong enough for me to try one more. I'm in the same boat, just barely. Just barely. And then I think we had a drop, so interesting.
All right. But speaking of copper drops in Night of the Cadillac, we have our own copper drop that we need to do for last week's pick. Lauren's not here, but she ended up picking Sergio's book, Gun Honey.
Gun Honey.
I'd like to say I'm shocked at her picking that book, but I'm not. I'd like to say I'm shocked that it's number one for Sergio, but I'm not, because if you've read this book, you would know why I think that. Serge, what are your thoughts?
No, let's kick it off with the guest here, man. Mind your manners, Steven. Come on now. Chris, what are your thoughts on Gun Honey, man?
If there was ever a book tailored to Sergio, it is Gun Honey. I think this was like tailor-made for him.
Hey.
But this was a really cool book. I liked it a lot, and I didn't expect to. The art caught my eye because it's not something I'm used to, I guess. But it
caught your eye, eh?
Yeah, it's really different. So this particular one though is cool because I go, that's different. I've never seen something like this. Like, what's going on? But it's a really interesting story, and I thought the art was fun. It reminded me of like an old pulp comic or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's what they were going for.
Sure.
This kind of femme fatale 70s pulp.
Absolutely.
And I think it completely works in that aspect. It tells a pretty quick story. It's really a great first issue too, because you get enough out of it to say, oh, okay, I want to read more of this,
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
For sure. To expand on your thoughts there, so I mean, do you want to? Why don't let's have you speak a little bit more? Why don't you give the audience just a brief synopsis of what Gun Honey is about?
Yeah, so Gun Honey is about a young woman who is essentially, she's not an assassin, but she helps assassins by hiding weapons for them whenever they need them. Thus, the name Gun Honey. That's basically what it's about. I don't know if there's spoilers involved there, so I don't want to say too much about what it is.
It's not that deep for you, eh, buddy?
No, it's not.
So
it's really just simple and straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. You've got the main character, Gun Honey, who she's a world-renowned gun smuggler, weapon smuggler, right? What I found interesting, the little angle there, she's not a hitman, she's not an assassin.
Yeah, right.
She doesn't kill.
She just gives them the gun.
Don't pull the trigger.
She's the supplier.
Give him the gun. I just supply, right? And whatever happens after that, you know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. So a world-renowned gun smuggler. She's she's confronted by like some kind of a government agency. We don't know exactly who they are, and offered this opportunity to come, work for them, right? She turns them down, and she gets kind of caught up.
Well, let's not give away the whole synopsis of the book.
Well, I think it's the synopsis pretty much explains it, and then she's kind of caught up in this world, right? For me, what stood out the most was I honestly thought this was like some of the best dialogue I've written in like all year in a long time. It was so strong. That was a strong point for me. Just the it just seemed real, natural. It didn't come off as like cheesy or corny, despite what the premise is about, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there's this femme fatale,
Despite the fan service, let's just say, despite the fan service of the book, you felt the writing was a strong point.
I thought the dialogue was great, man. I was impressed. I said, damn, this is some good shit, and the art was cool, there's definitely a sexiness to this book without being gratuitous, in my opinion, right?
It really does blur the line.
Yeah, it's right fair. At that line.
That's fair.
Because I mean, some of the shots that are in this, like, this is one of the. This isn't even one of the fan servicey pages that I'm showing here. Like, this is like furthest from the line that the book is. As Chris said, like, this book goes like right up to that line of like being a bit much.
Yeah,
and it's like it's just right there though.
But it does fit in with the feel they were going for.
Yeah.
So I think for me, and I was surprised. I had a feeling that I would enjoy it, but you never know, right? And in all honesty, it was one of the best number ones for me this year. One of the best number ones. This is great. Just the pacing was there. You've got your setup, right? You got your character background. You've got action. And then you've got that the ending, right? I honestly thought it was a damn near perfect number one. I don't say that often, man. That's Steve's thing. But
I said it twice.
Hey, but I thought this was a great number one, man. And I'm all in on this series. Yeah.
All right, my thoughts are I expected this to be very fan surfacey going in.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned, it goes right up to the line. And I think there's a certain threshold for me where I'm like, all right, that's a bit much. Like, where's the actual story here?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I was actually surprised that I really enjoyed the story that was being delivered. I like her character. I do find it a bit strange, though, that the whole premise of the book, as mentioned, she smuggles guns for hitmen to use at the right moment, in the right time. But in my head, I'm like, she's already there. Just fucking do it yourself. Like, if you can go to where they need the gun to do the hit, just do the hit. Like, you're right there. Like, she sneaks in to like hide a gun and then sneaks out for another guy to sneak in, grab the gun and shoot. Just fucking use the gun yourself. Other than that small little thing, I'm like, I really enjoy the premise of smuggling guns and not being the one that pulls the trigger, but still, she is at fault in some way. She should be carrying that guilt because she's giving the gun that is being used to murder. If she didn't do that, it wouldn't be happening.
Mm-hmm.
I like her backstory. I like her character. I like that the book actually had like a story, like a very fascinating story. But that one thing I kept thinking is like, she's right there. Just use the gun. Like there's so much work for the hitman to find the gun that she hid. She's already there. Just fucking do the hit yourself. I don't get that aspect of the book.
That's
I
not
like
how
the
she
premise.
operates, Steve.
I know, but like in terms of a story, it's so weird to be like, yeah, she goes in, goes out, another guy or girl goes in, does the hit, and then goes out. It's a lot, but I really do enjoy that idea of like someone smuggling the guns for them. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. So Chris, what do you know the whole idea of copper drop? What are you doing? What's going on with Gun Honey?
I caught this. I'm going to stick with it. I liked it a lot. Like you guys said, the dialogue is smart. It's a good story. Surprisingly, it's not just, hey, look at this art, which I thought that's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's really well written. I liked it a lot.
Yep.
And just a quick thing. I think maybe her not killing is part of like a code or something she has with it.
Yeah,
maybe.
For sure.
I'm assuming we're going to see more about that, but I like it a lot. I'm going to keep reading this.
Awesome.
Serge, it's your number one book. It's a cop, right?
For a reason. Definitely copping. I'm gonna continue to pick up Gun Honey. I picked up a couple variants too. There was a McGinnis variant. Man, it's just amazing. If you guys haven't already, and I think they've already gone to a second printing. It's a hot book, and if I'm not mistaken, I think I read that Stephen King is developing this for a movie or a TV series or something. Yeah. So yeah, for me, it's an easy cop. Like I said, one of my favorite number one first issues for this whole year, man. Yeah.
You heard it here. It's Perfect 10 by Sergio.
Hey, I didn't. You know what? Damn close. Damn close.
Close.
Not gonna lie. Damn close. Yeah.
All right. I was expecting for me to not like this book, but the premise, the character, the art, I did enjoy all of it. For that, it's a cop. Also, for those that don't know, if you have a library card and you have Hoopla, it's available on Hoopla.
Yes.
Titan Comics, as well as some other people like Boom and stuff like that, they will actually do their number ones, their individual issues on Hoopla. So if you may not have the financials to pick up this book, check out Hoopla with your library card. You may be able to find it there. I did, and I'm glad I did because it was a very enjoyable read digitally.
How great is that? You can get it for free on the day of release with your library card. I mean, it's win-win, man.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. Yeah.
Solid read.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Gun Honey, number one, certified House of Nerds show cop.
Unanimous.
But that's only part one of Copper Drop.
Okay.
We have with our guest Chris here. Chris, you are going to be the one who has to settle this.
This is a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. Now you're in the hot seat. Now you know what it feels like.
Wow. Okay.
All right. Who do you want to go first?
You go ahead first.
I feel like I've gone first like the last few weeks. Like this is.
I think that's the way it should go.
Why is that?
Because Sergio's pitches are usually pretty quick.
There you go.
Oh.
There you
so
go.
it's your picks. You put a little bit more into it, so I have to think more.
I'll take it.
Fair. All right, my pick for us to read is Soul Plumber number one, It is published by DC Comics, so I know that's right up your alley, Chris.
Oh my gosh, I see the angle you're going for, Steve. Come on now.
No
All
spoilers,
right.
but this was on my radar already. So.
All right, so synopsis. I'm just going to pull a search and just read it. From the creators of the last podcast on the left, exorcism just got a whole lot easier after attending a seminar hosted in a hotel conference room by a mysterious group called the Soul Plumbers. Edgar Wiggins, disgraced former seminary school student, discovers what he thinks is the secret to delivering souls from the thrall of Satan. But after stealing the blueprints and building the machine himself, out of whatever he can afford from his salary as a gas station attendant, Edgar misses the demon and instead pulls out an interdimensional alien with dire consequences for all of mankind. It's got horror. It's got aliens. It's got exorcisms. It's got janitors. It's got hotels, conference rooms. It's got it all. Soul Plumber number 1.
Looks like sewer Ghostbusters.
It kind of does, yeah. And it's a mini series, 1 of 6, so it's not an ongoing that you have to worry about. It's, you know, you like the first one, you get the second, and it's a complete story at 6 issues.
Okay.
Not feeling it, Steve.
Of course you're not feeling it. You're biased.
Clearly playing up to Chris's love for DC. But Chris, I'm going to appeal to your fine comic taste here, okay? We need to, broaden the horizons, man. A lot of great indie stuff. What I want to see is an indie book in your top 3 next week, okay, my man? So what I've got for you, it's a heater from AWA Upshot, who, are putting out fantastic content, book by the name of Out Number 1. All right, so right there, it's easy to pronounce, easy to say. So that's bonus points right there.
Your leading point for this is it's easy to say.
Easy to say. So here,
I like the simplicity there.
I'm gonna hit you with the synopsis here. In the waning days of World War II, with the Allies advancing, a desperate Nazi officer unearths an ancient force of evil that he hopes will turn the tide of vampire vampire. We're talking vampires here.
Sergio knows.
Who doesn't like vampires? You can't go wrong. Okay, we've seen Nazi zombies, but I don't think we've seen Nazi vampires. So to test the power of his secret weapon, he unleashes the monster on an unsuspecting group of Allied POWs. It's up to Nakona, a Comanche language expert, to communicate with the vampire to find out what it really wants. We've got a writer of Rob Williams, Will Conrad, who's dope on art, Marco Lesko on colorist. I'm not familiar with him, but AWA, indie books, man. Vampires, you cannot go wrong, buddy. You cannot go wrong.
You can go
horizons.
wrong.
We don't want another DC.
Very certain you can go wrong.
No, sir. The payoff is there. The potential. Think about the potential, Chris. Think about the potential.
I might have to give my final answer in ASMR.
Yes, absolutely.
Chris, think about the plumbers. Think about all the custodians and the exorcisms at this old plumbing place.
So it comes down to sewer Ghostbusters or Nazi vampires.
That's exactly what it comes down to, yeah.
Okay, so I think Sergio knows I love anything vampires. So that was a good pick for me. And then the art, that cover is beautiful.
Looks dope, man.
But I am interested in the sewer plumbers too. I don't know.
It's like Ghostbusters. It's kind of like Ghostbusters, but plumbers.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with Sergio though. Nazi vampires and the art's cool. I think I'm gonna go with Out because I like Nazi vampires.
You heard it here first. He likes Nazi vampires.
Yeah. I mean, because you can kill him and nobody cares.
Okay, fair point.
That's it, man.
Just destroy him, nobody cares.
Go for the jugular, man. No sympathy for those Nazi vampires, eh? Just stick it to him, right?
I'm gonna read Sewer Ghostbusters too, though.
Awesome. So this week's pick, Out number 1. I'm hyped, man.
Sergio gets a win again, 2 in a row.
I think so, man. I've been a little bit of a streak here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 3. I won the Night of the Cadillacs. I won this, and I won Gun Honey.
What was before Gun Honey?
Night of the Cadillacs, I believe, was my last.
Oh, was it? I don't know if we'll have to look. We'll have to check out the archives. We'll look at the tapes.
Intern Ian.
Intern Ian, please tell us when you have a chance before you go to bed, which was the book that came before Gun Honey?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Ian.
Chris, you chose correctly, man. Thank you.
Hold on. The book's not even out yet.
We know it.
We'll see if you chose correctly.
I
hoping I did.
pick heaters. My resume speaks for itself. Okay, guys. Man. All right. I'm looking forward to that. But you know what? In all honesty, that sewers plumber thing, it's piqued my interest, man. I'm gonna
plumber?
check it out. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
I think if you would have picked anything other than Nazis and vampires, it was Soul Plumber.
Yeah. I had a feeling, man. I said it's gonna be tough. But I squeaked out the win. But
another vampire book. You love the vampire stuff.
I do, man. Hey, you can't go wrong. A well-written vampire book. I don't know if you can beat that, right? And there's so many great ones these days. Vampire the Masquerade, Philadelphia. Steak. Yeah. So yeah, man.
So hopefully Out can join them in great vampire books, because we will be reading that and seeing if it's a copper drop next week.
Absolutely.
Right.
Looking forward to it. And Chris, as we do with all our guests, we're gonna request that you submit an under 30-minute review video of Out number 1. Under 30 minutes.
What if I wanted like 30 and some change, like 30?
That's too much.
45 seconds.
Steve's gonna have to do lots of editing.
Yeah, I'll have to do so much editing.
Yeah.
Let us know next week. Send us a video review whether it was a copper drop for you, Chris.
I can do that.
He Who Fights with Monsters. I won that one too, didn't I?
Wasn't that my book?
No, that was my book.
No, was it? Or was that Lauren's?
Oh no, that was your pick. That was
my pick?
That was your pick.
We read so many books on the show, we can't even keep track of them, people.
Yeah. You pitched that to me. That's right, and I picked it. But that was your pick.
Yeah, because it was a monster.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, thank you for coming on the show. Where can the good people find you on the internet?
Thank you guys for having me. This was fun. You guys can find me on Twitter at thatchris70. That's where I post most of my stuff. You could find my reviews and things like that over at letsgopodcast.com. My comic reviews, and sometimes do TV stuff, movies here and there too. We also have a TikTok now. I'm not doing the dances, but we're going to try to get Emmett or Nico to do them. Maybe Zeddy will do it. I don't know. We'll see how that works out.
Okay. I don't have a TikTok account, but I'm definitely going to be checking out your stuff, man.
It's fun.
Oh, I'm sure it is, man. You guys are influencers, man. Doing the TikTok game ain't no joke.
Something like that. Yeah, we're trying.
Okay. And where can the good people find Let's Go on the interwebs?
Let's Go Podcast on Twitter. That's the handle. And then also our YouTube channel is Let's Go Podcast. We do have the live show every Sunday, which we'll be doing tonight. It'll be Emmett Davis and myself. It's called Let's Go Live. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Usually you guys are on Sunday nights, no? Switched it?
Yeah.
Or is it always Sunday?
No, now we've moved completely to Sunday.
Today is Sunday. Welcome to the House of Nerds show, which premieres every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Wow.
How about that?
How about that?
Man. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll be live later tonight too.
I'll be there, man. I'll be there. And for those, you guys, if you haven't already, definitely, man. Check out Let's Go, man. It's a great show, good times. And they don't just focus on comics like Chris said. They touch on all kinds of stuff. So definitely recommend them.
Serge.
Yes.
When you're not focused on your OnlyFans, where can the good people find you on the internet?
Hey, man, you guys can find me at Insert Name Inc. That's INC on Twitter, Insert Name Comics on Instagram. And, I've mentioned before, my pull list requests are open for you guys for new issues, back issues, exclusive, variants, ratios, all that good stuff. Whatever you're after, hit me up. Hit me up with those requests, and, I'm happy to help you guys out. Now, Steve, before we kick it off to you, I do want to remind everybody. We announced last week we've got a big event planned. We're pretty hyped for this, man.
4 hours.
4. Whoa, we're not playing around. We are live streaming a watch along for DC Fandom. Man, we're hyped. We have when I tell you a whole gang of guests,
A whole slew. A slew of guests.
Squad. Man, we got several special guests coming through. Not gonna announce them quite yet, but we're gonna be making those announcements soon. Man, it's gonna be a great time. We got a whole ton of people coming through. Fantastic people, man. We're hype about it. So live watch along, reactions. What kind of craziness are they gonna announce at DC Fandom? So we're definitely excited for that.
And that is October 16th?
Saturday, October the 16th, which is in 2 weeks' time. So in 2 weeks, guys, coming up very, very soon. Yep. 2 weeks' time, come hang out with us. 1 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern, all 4 hours, man. All right. Steve is going to be here all 4 hours.
Yep.
Man, that's no joke.
They're chaining me to the chair. I can't move.
Wow. And we've already got some requests, guys. We'll see. We'll see. You're gonna have to tune in to find out.
For UL, we might just do that.
So we're hype about that, man. Come check it out. Come hang out with us. Bring your drinks, bring your snacks. Man, I mean, there's gonna be lots of announcements there. So looking forward to that.
October 16th.
October 16th, guys. And we've got some other things cooking. Stay tuned for announcement, man. We're working on some big stuff, guys. No joke. Steven.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Where can everybody find your amazing comic takes, bro?
If they want to find me and request personal ASMR videos, they can find me on Twitter at StovePost.
Okay.
More importantly, TO Comic Book Club at TO Comic Book Club on Twitter. Again, this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to be joined by the artist Aaron Campbell.
Oh, big time.
Don't want to miss that.
That's cool.
For House of Nerd Show, you can find us on Twitter at House of Nerd Show. We also have an Instagram at House of Nerd Show. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, ding-a-ling that little bell there.
Ring that bell, guys. Ring that
and
bell.
Before we head out, once again, happy birthday, Tara. Happy belated.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for the after hours special where we're just going to get sloppy drunk and toast to each other. Hey, man, thank you guys for coming through, for hanging out, man. The live chat was dope today. Amazing. You guys are awesome as always. Chris, thank you so much, my dude.
Thank you guys for having me.
It was great having you on, man. And we got to get you on again soon. Guys, check out X. Was it X?
State of X.
State of X.
If you want to hear myself, Lauren, and Chris talk all things X content in terms of the Marvel Universe, check out State of X.
There you go. It's been a great one, guys. Thanks for tuning in, yeah?
Yep, and come back next Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, same bat time, same bat YouTube channel.
All right, guys. All right.